So now it's time for the moment of truth. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Laylah, and have you ever wanted to lose weight in your hands? No? You either? A few weeks back, I was, scrolling on the tube when this video came up in my recommendations. So naturally I was like, gotta get me some of that. So for 14 whole days, I did this video every single freaking day. Before we get into all that, I just wanted to break the bad news first. So, unfortunately, we lost the entirety of day one's footage. But I assure you, day one actually did happen. So day one is gone. And the sad thing about this is that this was kind of like a first impressions, a first wow, and just kind of my thoughts throughout it. But yeah, that's gone. I spent about an entire day trying to recover the file. I don't know what's happening. This has happened a couple times before, but usually I have the backup of the video on my SD card, but this time I didn't. This time I did not. But that's fine. It's okay. Everything's alright. So yeah, we are missing a day, but you know what? That is fine. Okay, moving on. So before we jump into the challenge, I wanted to do some quick measurements. So basically, if we're gonna lose weight in our hands through this challenge, that would mean my ring size goes down. All you need is like a piece of paper or some string and a marker to mark where the lines overlap. No one told me it was actually gonna be this hard to, line it up. I don't know. And to both give you a better view and to make sure that I was getting the measurements right, I did this twice, and it came out at about 2.5 inches both times, which equals about 63.5 millimeters, which equates to a 10 or a 10.5. And I was gonna do this with all of my fingers, but this took so freaking long just to do on my ring finger that I was like, no, this isn't gonna happen. And another test I wanted to do that may or may not be accurate was using this ring I used to wear in middle school. It's missing all its gems. I don't know what happened. So I used to wear this ring all the time in middle school on my ring finger, and then I don't know what happened. I got puffy or something, and I could not get the ring past my knuckle. So I decided to use this as the test. If I could get this ring all the way on, that would mean that this challenge was actually, not, fake. And our completion date is June 6th. Yes, I procrastinated the making of this video a little bit. And yes, I am aware of how stupid of a method this is to test, but it was the only thing I could come up with that we could actually, see a difference with, so that was kind of my thought process behind the whole ring, and it did used to fit me. So as I mentioned, day one is gone. So here's what we're gonna do instead of day one. I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of the video so that when I mention some stuff later, you know what I'm talking about, like this. So you have 10 minutes, 15 exercises, and 14 days to see results. So we've got handshake, rotate the wrist, play the piano, finger pulling, forward wheel finger, the palm pressing, and then press palm, back pressure finger, massage fingers, earthworm movements, wrist wrapping, knuckle bending, stretching, and then the last two she did not give names, so we'll call this one Spider Finger. And so that's pretty much catching you up on day one. So now we're ready for day two. Welcome to day two! So it's officially day two, Monday, May 24th. Alright, so let's just get right into it. Can you hear my wrists? By day 2, I was already pretty bored with this challenge, so in the off chance you ever decide to do this yourself, my advice would be, perhaps listening to some background music, because you're gonna be here a while. What? So one thing I noticed that was kind of hilarious is that, when you're sped up like this and you speak, you make the weirdest noises. Day 2. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 3. Welcome to day 3. So welcome to day 3. So I thought listening to music might make it just slightly less boring, because the music in the video is kind of strange. While I'm doing my exercises, I thought it would be a prudent time to discuss my thoughts on this challenge and also some facts I came across while doing this challenge. And it's been a few weeks since the last day of this challenge, so my bias and internal conflicts have definitely lessened by now. Quite frankly, the way she phrased things in the beginning of the video was quite concerning to me, because it had such a negative connotation. Big, short fingers are for some reason undesirable, and with the use of this video, you can completely change joint, bone, ligament, and genetic factors to have long, beautiful hands. That's doo-doo. Doo-doo! This just got to me primarily because growing up, and this is gonna sound really ridiculous, I hated my hands. My ring size was always way bigger than my sister's. I have 3 older sisters, and my hands just looked fat and even kind of grotesque to me at the time, and it made me very self-conscious. It was like a weird insecurity I had. Getting off topic for a second, I decided at this point in the video, this was a good time to start trying on the ring, because we were almost halfway through the challenge, and I wanted to see if I had made any at all progress. The moment of truth. So the phrasing that having bigger hands and fingers is unattractive brought all those repressed feelings back. I just feel like this might make people self-conscious about something they didn't even think was an issue previously, because as long as your hands function and work and do what they're supposed to, why should we care what they look like? Where the hell is the ring? So we ask ourselves the question. Anyway, on to point number 2. You can't actually spot reduce. Spot reduction is a long-held belief by many that by working a specific muscle group or area, and that group alone, you can reduce the amount of fat in that area. And you know, this is kind of a little bit logical. You know, you think if you work out your abs every single day, you're eventually going to see some muscle definition. But quoting fityard.com, when a muscle is forced to draw upon fat stores for energy, the fat used is drawn from the entire body. That means that while exercise will certainly strengthen the muscles involved, it won't do anything specifically around the fat stored in the surrounding area. Working a certain muscle group might be wonderful for fitness purposes, but it will never lead to any localized fat loss. Basically, to lose weight in one area, you have to lose weight in all areas. And because we know that between our knuckles and fingertips, there are only blood vessels, connective tissues, and no muscles, as well as very little fat cells in there, you can't train them in the way that the creator of this challenge makes it seem, and even if you could, genetics are going to play a very big role in that. You know, genetics. How can I change my genetic coding? I'm getting all worked up again. Also, at some point, I gave up on introducing the days, because it was getting repetitive real fast. I'm not even sure how you'd go from that to this, how that's even genetically possible, because how the freak would your fingers get longer? Thinner? Maybe. Sure, that's fine. But longer? What? Because unless you're... Okay, that's an interesting finger choice. Unless you're, like, pulling at the joints and stretching the tendons and ligaments.
How were they supposed to get longer?
Another point I wanted to bring up that may not be as relevant, but I feel is still worth mentioning, is the risk of carpal tunnel doing hand exercises such as these. Carpal tunnel is basically when this nerve, the median nerve, is compressed. This causes a lot of issues in day-to-day living and can cause numbness and weakness as well as pain. Women are more likely to get it due to the carpal tunnel area being smaller and thinner than men's. Oh yeah, and also, did you know that fluid retention is a problem during that time of the month? And fluid retention in the hands and fingers during that time changes the look of your hands and your ring size. Did you know this? Because I didn't know this. Anyway, those were just some of my thoughts during this challenge and some of my issues with this challenge, because, you know, giving people insecurities isn't cool. The only way to really change your ring size is to lose weight. And that's not even a guarantee. So anyways, I was so happy that this challenge was coming to an end because it's so repetitive. And one thing I noticed that kept happening was my joints were freaking hurt. Like, I had a little bit of hand stiffness and for some reason soreness. Maybe my hands are just out of shape, I don't know. I have no idea what causes that. I don't know what that is, but I didn't predict that would happen. It is the last day. Let's do it. But we finally reached the last day of the challenge, and my gosh, was I happy. The last day of you doing something that you really don't want to do is probably one of the best things, one of the best feelings in human existence. I cannot explain it. It did take a large portion of my time every day. It wasn't just, oh, sit down for 10 minutes and that's it. It was setting up the camera, setting up the lights and the microphone, getting the video to play. So yeah, this took about 30 minutes of my time every single day for 14 days, and I was glad that I no longer had to dedicate that much time every day to this. When was 14 days ago?
It was Sunday, May 23rd, 2021.
It's finally complete. So now it's time for the moment of truth. I literally cannot get it past, well, a little bit, but I can't get it all the way down. But just for good measure, let's measure. We're still sitting at right about 2.5. So now I'm going to show you a quick before and after. And that was officially the end of day 14. So yeah, we finally reached the end. I was overjoyed, really annoyed that I lost day 1, and honestly, I was not expecting much when it came to this challenge, because just like when people say you can get rid of your double chin by doing exercises, things are a lot more complicated scientifically than just targeting a specific area. If I had done this for a whole month, I wonder if I would have seen more results. And so, the fact that nothing changed, not ring size, not finger size, not look or shape, or length, which isn't possible, I would like to point out, kinda tells me that doing it for a month would have just completely been a waste of time. And I just want to say, if you have chubbier fingers, that is okay. That is acceptable. That is perfectly fine. You are fine the way you are. I'm really sick of people getting insecurities from things they never even really thought of. And on Instagram, I saw this video the other day of this, and the comment section, people were like, what's going on? And then this one girl was like, I hate my fat hands. Yeah, but that's all. Challenge complete, and I'm glad I can finally put this behind me and say conclusively that it did not work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Probably won't. Just a heads up. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.